You are listening to Igbo Community Radio Worldwide. Despite billions of naira allocated for public projects, Lagos and several other states recorded alarming levels of incomplete, abandoned, and fraudulently delivered projects, according to the 2024/2025 project tracking report released by Tracka, the service delivery monitoring platform of Budget. The report, which tracked 2,760 government-funded projects across 28 states, exposes deep-rooted accountability gaps between budgetary allocations and real development outcomes on the ground. While Lagos remains Nigeria's economic nerve center and one of the country's biggest recipients of public spending, the findings show that it is not immune to the systemic weaknesses undermining project execution nationwide. Out of the total projects monitored, only 1,438 were completed. The rest painted a troubling picture. 99 projects were abandoned, 660 were still in progress, 471 were not done at all, while 92 projects were classified as fraudulently delivered. These fraudulent cases included diversion of project funds, relocation of projects without approval, repeated funding of already completed projects from previous budget cycles, and poorly or partially executed works passed off as completed. Lagos emerged as one of the 5 states with the highest incidence of fraudulent project delivery, accounting for 12.73% of such cases nationwide. The state ranked second only to Imo, which recorded 17.43%, and ahead of Kwara 11.76%, Abia 10.67%, and Ogun 8.33%. Collectively, these 5 states accounted for 57.1% of all fraudulently delivered projects identified by Tracka, involving 8.61 billion Nigerian nairas out of the N15.07 billion dispersed for projects in this category. For Lagos, the findings are particularly significant. As Africa's largest city and Nigeria's commercial capital, the state is often viewed as a benchmark for governance and infrastructure delivery. The report, however, suggests that weak supervision, opaque disbursement processes, and limited citizen oversight continue to create room for inefficiency and abuse, even in relatively advanced urban centers, beyond state-level analysis. Tracka's report also zoomed in on critical infrastructure sectors with national development implications following repeated national grid collapses in 2024. The platform focused attention on dam-related projects across 13 states, with a combined value of N432 million. These projects are vital for water management, irrigation, and power generation, sectors that directly affect food security, energy supply, and economic stability. Yet, the findings were stark. Of the 16 dam projects tracked, none had been completed at the time of assessment. 4 were abandoned outright, 6 were progressing at a slow pace, and another 6 had not commenced at all. Despite funds having been allocated, Tracka warned that poor oversight in this sector could have ripple effects far beyond the project sites, worsening electricity shortages and undermining agricultural productivity. Healthcare delivery also came under scrutiny. Tracka monitored 47 revitalized primary healthcare centers across 25 states to assess whether budgetary commitments were translating into improved access and quality of care. While 26 centers showed visible improvements in infrastructure or equipment, the rest told a different story. 12 facilities were still under renovation, 8 had received no intervention despite being listed as revitalized, and 1 was completely abandoned. In many communities, including densely populated urban and peri-urban areas, residents were found to still be traveling long distances to access care or relying on poorly equipped facilities with inadequate staffing and sanitation. According to the report, limited public disclosure of disbursement data made it difficult to determine whether delays were caused by funding gaps, contractor inefficiency, or weak supervision, an issue that also affects projects in Lagos and other major states. The Niger Delta, a region that has historically received significant federal intervention funding, also presented mixed outcomes. Tracka tracked 48 federally funded projects across Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Delta, and River states, while 29 projects were completed and delivered measurable benefits to host communities. 13 had not commenced, 4 were ongoing, and 2 were untraceable despite confirmed funding. Despite the sobering findings, The report also highlighted the power of citizen engagement in driving positive outcomes. 15 success stories were documented across the country, where active community monitoring helped revive stalled projects or improve delivery. These included the revitalization of the Kaida Sabo Primary Healthcare Center, renovations at Nawaruddin Primary School in Plateau State, completion of a previously stalled healthcare center in Akiran, empowerment programs for persons with disabilities in Katsina, erosion control projects in River State, and improved access to clean water through borehole projects in Akwa Ibom. Speaking on a report, head of Tracka, Joshua Osayemi, stressed that the problem is not the absence of funds, but the absence of sustained oversight. The 2024/2025 Tracka report confirms what we have long known. Allocation of funds does not guarantee project delivery. Citizen oversight is not optional, it is essential, he said. Osayemi noted that Tracka was only able to monitor 11.2% of all budgeted projects, 2,760 out of 24,553, under the ERGP and ZIP frameworks. However, he argued that even limited citizen participation could radically change outcomes. If just 5% of Nigerians engage in oversight, monitoring could reach 50%, significantly reducing opportunities for corruption and greatly improving service delivery and quality of life. Across communities, he added, the report called on federal and state governments to publish detailed project information, release timely disbursement data, strengthen supervision mechanisms, and prioritize projects with high social impact. IT also urged state governments, including Lagos, to treat federal allocations as strategic development tools rather than discretionary or patronage funds. Anti-corruption agencies were equally challenged to act more preventively by closing systemic loopholes and ensuring that investigations lead to concrete consequences. In the meantime, citizens were encouraged to visit project sites, document progress, and leverage civic platforms such as Tracka to demand accountability at the grassroots. Ultimately, the 2024/2025 Tracka report serves as both a warning and a call to action. Without transparency and citizen engagement, public resources, whether in Lagos or elsewhere, will continue to be wasted. With sustained oversight, however, public spending can be redirected to deliver real, measurable improvements in the lives of Nigerians.